Hi everyone, this is Adam Weiser from the Illinois Self-Advocacy Alliance. We call ourselves Alliance for short. I am the project director for the Alliance. During our presentation, all attendees will be in listen-only mode. If you want to connect with the presenter or the Alliance, please use the chat box. You can also raise your hand if you want to speak. We'll have time for questions and answers at the end of the presentation. This presentation is being recorded and will be placed on the Alliance's YouTube channel. Be sure to check out our YouTube channel, where we have more than 140 recorded presentations that are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. We are a year out of the start of the Illinois following the 8 home and community-based services settings final rule. Let's see where Illinois is and where you are. Do you have a lock on your door? Do you pick your food? How did you decorate your room or house? Has your life changed? Here are updates and let us know what is happening in your world with the final rule in place. Tavarus Wesley is Alliance's advocacy coordinator. He is also the former president of the self-advocacy group PossABILITY Partners. Tavarus is a member of the ARC of Illinois Board of Directors and also served on the Illinois Council on Developmental Disabilities Board. Tavarus is a graduate of Illinois Partners in Policymaking. He's an accomplished presenter regularly speaking at the Illinois Speak Up and Speak Out Summit. He is also presented at the National Self-Advocates Becoming Empowered SABE Conference and at the Tennessee Mega Conference. Leanne Mole has been supporting people with intellectual and developmental disabilities to achieve their dreams for over 20 years. Leanne believes that the key to meaningful life for people who receive services is to encourage, empower, and enlighten the staff who work for them. As co-director of Blue Tower Solutions Incorporated, Leanne fulfills that dream as a national speaker, writer, and consultant, improving organizations and systems. Let's welcome Tavarus and Leanne.
Thank you for the Adam. Thank you for the Good morning, everybody. Like Adam said, I am Tavarus Wesley, and I am the advocacy coordinator. And with me today is
Leanne. As Adam said, and Tavarus and I have been presenting about the HCBS settings rule since about 2017. We do this every couple of years. We've done it at multiple conferences and helped put together the Illinois presentations last year that are still available on YouTube for DSPs and people receiving services. So we thought today we're 1 year out from when everything was put in place, and so we wanted to do a little check-in and see how everybody's doing, and let you know a little bit about what we've heard happening and how we can work through some of these things. And so just a reminder, because we all live with rules, right? But these are rules that the providers in Illinois need to follow. And the basics, if we go all the way back 10 years ago, was when the first part of this rule was supposed to be in place, and that was it was called conflict-free case management. And so that was why a lot of stuff changed here in Illinois. Back before Illinois got that part implemented in about 2016. And before that, you may remember that your case managers at your agency helped you to write your annual plan, whether it was called your individual support plan or your annual staffing. But when the rules changed, then that changed over to your individual service coordinator, independent service coordinator started doing the plan. And so that started in 2016. And since then, there's been a lot of changes in how the meetings take place, and a lot of changes in the paperwork that happens. And then the rest of the implementation was supposed to be in 2019, but then that got pushed back, and then it ended up in March 17th of 2023, and Illinois came in right under the wire. So, Tavarus, you want to talk a little bit about person-centered planning?
Yes, I sure will. Person-centered planning must concern your home streams of input, not once, not in done. Must be written in a way that you can understand. You can get chosen to who gets to come, where, what time the meeting takes place.
So these rules are written in the rules, but as we know, sometimes things when things change, it can be hard. Okay, so there's some things that we're still working on how we're going to do this and how we're going to get this done. And so one of the things that we want to make sure that you know, as people who are receiving services in home and community-based settings, is when it says that you get to choose who comes to the meeting, you can choose whoever you want. That means that you can have somebody from your agency come to the meeting with you. Maybe you want to talk to someone at your agency before your meeting in the discovery process so that you're prepared when you meet with your ISC, because the stuff that you talk about in your person-centered, in your discovery meeting, is what then goes into your plan. And your person-centered plan is what outlines everything that is going to happen for the next year. So, what is important to you? Is there anything you want to learn? Is there anything that you want to try? Is there anything that you know that you want to do? How often do you want to do it? Hey, maybe you don't like to go out, so maybe you want to do some things in your home. All of us, so all the organization and the ISC and day services and your family, the point of the person-centered plan is that we want to wrap around services and supports so that you can experience what you want to experience. And when it says not once and done, let's say today, right now it's April. If I had a person-centered plan, maybe it would say that I want to go for a walk outside every day. But you know what? When it's like 102 in July, I'm not going to want to go for a walk outside every day. So we can add that in to the plan, or we can change that in the plan. Maybe when it's too cold, I'm going to walk inside on a treadmill, or I'm going to use a pedal thing, or whatever it is. But when it says not once and done, that means if you say, hey, I'd like to work on this, and find out, I really do not like this, then you can say to your staff, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. You can say to your ISC when you meet with them 4 times a year, hey, let's try something else. Okay. Tavarus, anything to add about person-centered planning?
Yeah, like you said, not once a done. I mean, that's a true statement, because there's a lot of times that, I've said that, oh, I'm gonna do it this way. Then, I fall back like, I better try it a different way. So I understand once it's not done. And also I do get to choose who can come to my person center meeting, if I want my case manager, heck, if I wanted you there, heck, if I wanted Christine there, heck, if I wanted the whole agency at my meeting, I can do that. So, and
Absolutely.
and for like hopes and dreams and input, yes, yes, I do have hopes and dreams and inputs on things and stuff like that. Because you don't, you know, people just assume that's what you want, assume that's the way you want things in life and all that. And if you don't voice your opinion a lot, when they assume, then you get upset.
Yep. And one thing that I've realized with myself, if I don't prepare ahead of time, sometimes when people ask me, so what do you want to do for the next year? I have no idea. And so it's okay. Talk to your house manager. Talk to your
Yes,
boyfriend or your girlfriend or your
yes,
friends. Yep. Or your staff at CDS, or send an email to the Alliance, and people can talk to you and say, well, hey, have you tried this in this area? What about, do you want to change anything about where you live? Do you want to change anything about what you do? Do you want to make sure that you continue? Do you like your roommate? All of these different things. And so the more you have ready before you go to your discovery meeting or your person-centered planning meeting, then the more that will be in your plan, and you don't have to freeze up. Because when people say, hey, Leanne, what do you want to be when you grow up? I still don't know. Okay. Should we go on to the next thing, Tavarus? Or your
yes, go ahead.
favorite thing? Talking about a lease.
I don't know favorite thing, but it's a good thing to have because we don't have a lease agreement. If we don't have that lease agreement on hand, a lot of situations could turn to bad situation or it could turn to ugly situation. It's important to have the lease, because I'm gonna say about I'm gonna say about 10+ years ago, I had a situation. You know, the landlord said I couldn't do something. And it's not in the lease. He was telling me that it's in the lease that I can't do this, I can't do that. And then I showed the lease like where is it in the lease that it says this, and eventually, he saw the lease that he typed up that he handed to me. And he saw it and he apologized. So at least get carried. It's important to have a lease because a lot of people, if the landlord or if, just say for hypothetically, if a police situation get involved and all that, say neighbors say, and the lease say, can't play the radio past certain time and all that. And the neighbor would call and it would be about, let's say 8:30, hypothetically, I'm just hypothetically speaking about certain things about the lease. And the neighbor would call by 8:30 and say, you're playing the music too loud, you know, you're violating the lease and all that. But it's in the lease to say you can play the loud music until about 10:30 and all that. So it's very important to have a lease. It can get you a long way. It can save a lot of trouble and a lot of legal fees.
And you may hear people talk about a residential agreement, and that is something that really you should be signing every year. Your ISC, when they come for visits, they will look at that, and you can see what is in that. And it may have things in there, like Tavarus said, about how late you can play loud music, when the times that you can. Here in my neighborhood, I have neighbors, and so they say turn down the TV by 10 o'clock because we have thin walls. And so really it's about being considerate. It also, your lease may have in there how you can decorate the house. Okay.
Oh, yes.
And really, go ahead, Tavarus.
Yes, yes. And no, I was just vibing with you. I want you to go throughout this thing. Short. How you can paint your room, how you can mount TVs on the wall and all that. So yes, that's very important. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, and that's the kind of stuff that's in everybody's lease. Okay, so whether people live in a group home, whether people live in a co-op like me, or an apartment like Tavarus, we all have leases. Mine says do whatever you want inside your house. But when you move out, you're going to have white walls,
Yep.
and there's not going to be any holes in the walls. Mine also says that in order to change anything outside my house, I have to get permission from the office. Okay, so that's all the kind of stuff that's in a residential agreement. Okay, so
Yes.
and you can ask for a copy of that, like Tavarus said, so that you can check it. I have a whole book of rules where I live, and I have it so that I can check it. Okay, and see what are the rules that we have here. Okay, the next thing that we have is keys to our room, or a key to the house, or both. Tavarus, you want to talk about what this looks like for folks?
Yes, I can tell you what the importance is of having the key to your room, and I can tell you what the importance is to have the key to your house. Um, Having the key to the house is very important, especially if you stay on your own, because it gives you all the freedom in the world. Um, it's an old saying that some of the people in the back in the day used to use that, once you get in for a long day, you don't have to, if you want to go out, you could go in, lock your door, tell the world, and you can tell the world to kiss your back. But it's just old saying. But if you don't if you don't stay by yourself, and if you're capable of keeping keys, you're not to lose stuff and all that, you could talk to your housemates and all that, work out a arrangement and have keys for you and all that, so you won't have to wait on the staff to get there. So we had an individual at my shelter workshop that when I was the president of the Self-Advocacy group, PossABILITY Partners, that individual came to me, was saying that he was tired of waiting on the staff. He would get off work and he had to wait on the staff for like an hour or two. So he voiced his opinion. So it was me and the person that over our Self-Advocacy group, and we went to our CEO at the time, let it rest in peace.
We told them situation, and CEO agreed that the self-advocate was capable of to having the key. Well, actually, a lot of houses, it's co-operated. So CEO himself said yes, the individual is capable of knowing the code. So he gave the code to the house and all that. So again, it's capable of giving up the keys and all that. Yes, you're obligated to have keys. Key to have a lock to your room. Yes, it's your right. It's your person. It's your privacy. That was part of the HCBC movement that they want to make things feel more comfortable if you're in your own house, if you're in the cellar, or if you're in a whatever. They want to make it you feel like your own home. So take over there.
And so you guys may remember last year when we were getting ready for March 17th, everybody was asked if they want a key to their room. When we're saying key, it could be a code like Tavarus was talking about. It could be what's called a fob, which is a little electric thing that you wave and your door unlocks. And so many of you said, you know what? I don't want a key. When we go back to talking, if you remember back when we talked about your person-centered plan, it's not a once and done. Just because last year you said, I don't want a key. Maybe this year you want to try a key. Tavarus talked about being able to go into your room or your house and close the door and lock it and have privacy. Maybe you're not comfortable doing that. I'll tell you a couple things. The staff at your house will also have a key to your room in case something happens. Another thing is, maybe you never want to lock your door while you're in there, but maybe you want to lock your door when you leave so that you can keep your stuff safe, okay, from other people, okay? And so that's something to think about. Maybe you want to try that. Maybe you don't feel like you could use a key or hold a key. What else can we do? Okay, so that's where the fob comes in. That's where a code comes in. And maybe you have no interest in ever dealing with a key ever in your life, and that's okay. But your ISC is going to ask you about it at your person-centered planning meeting so that you have an opportunity to change your mind. Something else to add, Tavarus?
That's funny that you speak on the fact that the staff had to keep because like all the homes that when all our homes on part of Saratoga said that each of our houses has the locks on there, and each staff has a master key, like you said that for like if some emergency reasons and all that. So I just want to put that, like he was that you had a good point on that one.
Yep. And that's the same way at every agency that I have visited across the country, because we never know what's going to happen if you're locked in your room. And maybe if mom and dad know, hey, staff can still get in, maybe then you'll want to try a key instead of just saying, nah, I don't need a key. Okay, next up, whoops. Sorry, let me go back. Okay, what are we looking at? All right, so person-centered planning. These are more things that you have some choice about. Tavarus?
Some choices include who you want to live with, housemate, where you want to live, or whether or not to have roommates.
Yep, and
So
go ahead, Tavarus.
So I was going to say that this right here is very important. You get to your roommate, your housemate, where you want to live, and whether or not to have a roommate. Personally, right now I don't have a roommate. Do I want a roommate? Eventually, probably, but it had to be somebody that I could trust and all that. It couldn't be just no any old body. It couldn't be, me and that person have to have, the respect on the same level. Like, for instance, I want to bring it up here over and all that. And I was there, the roommate still wanted to be in his pajamas and all that. I can't just bring that person in without concerning with my roommate. So it's all about, having common respect for one another as, if you want to have a roommate. So I just want to add that little part in.
Hey, that's fantastic. Here in Illinois, you need to know that when your ISC is asking you about where you live, you can say, you know what, I have a roommate, but I would rather have my own room. It's not going to happen the next day. Okay, but it will be in your plan so that then at least the people who are your support network will know, you know what, let's be on the lookout for a room by themselves. I know a lot of people who have moved and their roommate moves with them. They've been roommates for 20 years. They like being roommates. They don't want their own room. They'd rather have their roommate. Okay. Same thing with housemates. Sometimes housemates decide that they just want to stay living together, and all of that is okay. And when it says you have a choice of where you live, we're talking about in the state. Okay. But we're also talking about, let's say you live way down by St. Louis, but your family is way up by Wisconsin, and maybe you'd want to move up there. And so if you don't let people know that, then your support network doesn't know to be looking for that, because like we said, it's not going to happen the next day. Just like if I decide to move, I'm going to have to sell where I live. I'm going to have to look for somewhere new to live. I'm going to have to look for a new job. So it's not, nobody moves in one day. Okay. And so, but if it's something that you're considering, if you let people know, then they can start talking about, hey, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? How can we support this person? And along those lines, we have decorating your room and your house. We talked a little bit about this, but anything else we want to say, Tavarus?
Now you go to the next. I mean, you think somebody else could know different colors and all that. I would touch on
Well,
want to like nowadays we see rule as well that you can decide that what type of color paint you want in your home and all that, because some of the houses that I would work there and all that, they different color, the color they want in their room and all that. I mean, I would show y'all stuff right now, but it's too noisy enough, so I can't really show you exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, some of the houses have different colors. These the colors they picked out now, not the colors. Oh, guess what you gonna get stuck in now? They voice they painting they had their right now. Or if you want pictures, posters, or if you want the different kind of lines, traits, or if you want little special writings on the wall and all that. Sure, right.
yep, in your bedroom, right?
Yes, in your bedroom.
Yep.
Sure, right.
Yep, in your bedroom, if you don't have a roommate, it's your right to decorate however you want. Now, what if you have a roommate? Your half of the room, you can decorate how you want, but you know what? Your roommate gets to decorate their half of the room. And when we're talking about decorating your house, guess what? You live with 3 other people, you all get a say in how to decorate your house. It's not, I don't get to have my big pink house, okay? Even though I love pink. In my office, I have lots of pink and oh, you can see behind me, I have lots of pink. That's because I'm the only one who works here. In the rest of the house, there's not pink. Okay, because that's my color. So my private space, I get to pick all the colors. The rest of the house, I work together with the people that I live with for how we're going to decorate the house. And it's the same way. It's the same way for you guys if you live in a Scylla. It's the same way for college students who are going away and they're decorating their dorm room or their apartment. My private space, I get to decorate how I want. The rest of the house, it is a conversation and cooperating of how do we want our house to look. Next up, we have schedules and activities. Tavarus, you want to talk about this?
Controlling of schedules and activities. If you like staying on your own and all that, you can control the type of schedule you want. You can control the activities you want. You can control your day-to-day routines as you want. Say for instance, you got work in your schedule. As part of the schedule, if you want to go to a rock and roll concert, you want to go bowling, you go to the movies. Well, if you want to go to karaoke, if you want to play the guitar and all that, that's the right of your control of your schedule. Now, if you stay in the cellar, stay in the what's it called, still have a right to, voice your opinion, what type of schedule you want. You do have to work it out with the house manager and all that. Or, your case manager or your ICDD worker, But, right. Voice your opinion.
And where can we write down and tell people what we like to do for fun? We go back to the person-centered plan, okay?
Yeah.
And how often do we want to do something? If we like bowling, do we want to be on a bowling team? Do we want to go to open bowling? What do you want to do for fun? And what do you want to do for work? What do you want to do on the weekends? Okay. And Tavarus mentioned, hey, what do you want to watch on TV? And we go back to, hey, you got your TV in your room, watch whatever you want. If you're watching TV in the main room, then what do you got to do? You got to talk to the other people who are in the main room to cooperate and have a conversation about what you want. And the next thing we're going to talk about goes with everything on this slide, and that is control of money. Okay, because if we flip back to that fun slide of all those fun things like karaoke, bowling, movies, concerts, instruments, you need money for that. So what does that mean? Okay, that means you get a job. That means of the money that you get every month, you have to save that money. Okay, so when we talk about control of your money, so many people that I have talked to in Illinois and in other states, so many people say, nah, I'm perfectly fine. I don't need to know what my money is spent on. Yes, you do. Okay. I'm not saying you got to control your whole budget, but if you want to do fun things and you need money for that, it's okay to ask your staff for help to figure out, okay, if I want to go bowling every week, how much money do I need for that? And then how should I budget the rest of my money? Okay, Leanne, I am perfectly happy if I never had to pay another bill in my life, but that's not realistic. And because I am paying my bills, then I can figure out, do I want to go out to McDonald's? And if I do I need to get something from the dollar menu, or can I get something else? That's why it's important to know how much money you have and ask for help on how you want to spend that so you can do what you want to do. Any thoughts, Tavarus? Beside that, I kind of went off on that tangent. I was thinking about karaoke.
I mean, you covered all the bases on that. I think we want to next week.
Okay, next up we have everybody's favorite topic, and that is access to food. So, have you noticed that this all kind of goes together? First, we talked about fun things to do, then we talked about money. Now we're talking about food, because if I spend my spending money on food, then I won't have spending money to do something fun. But the rule says that you can have access to food at any time. So this is way different for a lot of folks from what they are used to. And it's not just different for you guys who are living in Silas, it's different for the staff too. It's nothing that anybody is used to. So we're trying to figure out how to do this. Okay, so maybe it is that you're going to keep your snacks in your room. Maybe you're going to get a little mini fridge in your room. Maybe because when we're living with other people, we have to think, hey, I love peanut butter. The guy I live with loves peanut butter, but they found out that he's allergic. And he may not realize that he shouldn't have the peanut butter. So I'm going to keep my peanut butter locked up. Okay. It's okay to keep stuff locked up. A lot of houses have a locked snack cabinet. The key to this, though, is that you have a key or access to the key to the snack cabinet so that you can get your particular snack at any time. Okay? That you can have what you want for breakfast. That you can make the lunch that you want for the next day. Okay, but you know what? When I visit a lot of day centers, they say, but hey, people are eating their lunch at breakfast. I would have everybody raise their hand. Has anybody eaten their lunch at breakfast? Yep, I did it yesterday. I made my lunch and I ate my lunch at 10 o'clock in the morning. But you know what that meant? That meant no lunch at noon because I had already eaten my lunch. Okay, so that's what, when we talk about decision making and access to food at any time, then that's what we're talking about, that I can eat my breakfast for lunch, but then I got to realize I'm not going to have lunch. Okay, I can spend my money on buying snacks, but then I got to realize I'm not going to have money to go out. Okay, Tavarus?
Doubtful. just like I said, they have on lunch and all that, but it's how it's how you do it and all that. Because yeah, God are hungry, but then when it's have like lunchtime, you gonna be like, hey, hey, my lunch 2 hours ago. But
Yeah.
I've seen access to food like at our house, I went in their room and stuff, they keep their stuff, you know, keep their stuff in their room locked away, because, like you said, like some people can learn this, or, some people can take their stuff. So they keep their stuff locked in their room. They also have some ones I've seen, they have their own fridges in them. Little mini fridge to keep stuff locked up in there. I just want to throw that out there.
Yep. Yeah. People. So my mom was a legal secretary, and she told us that she would bring her lunch and then the associate lawyers would take her lunch. Okay. So it happens. Roommates have, this is my shelf, this is your shelf, don't touch my stuff. So again, we're talking about when you live with other people, then you talk about it and talk about it. Sometimes we live with people who may not understand, and that's when we talk about, how am I going to keep my stuff to myself? Okay, that's when we're talking about locking up your stuff. Okay, because you may love your roommate. That doesn't mean that you want him to eat your snacks. And this kind of goes with our last thing, Tavarus, visitors at any time. You want to start this one?
Business anytime. Okay, yes, I would. By me staying by myself and all that, you can have business anytime. But a lot of people I do know, they know not to just pop up. You know, I have you have to aware, you have to live aware that you're coming. And when I say that you're coming, I don't mean that, that okay, person, oh yeah, come on, you expect them to come right away, but you know they coming through, about communication, about, to send the type of temple you want them to live on your own. Now, if you stay with a housemate or if you stay uh, with your mate or if you stay in person or whatever, then you have to, be considerate of your housemate, because a person can just pop if you stand with somebody, a person can just pop up, like I was saying earlier, the housemate could be in his pajamas and a robe and all that. The housemate could get uncomfortable and all that. So when you stand with somebody, the best key is to have communication. And you can take from there.
Absolutely. Yes, the rule says you can have visitors at any time, but guess what? The people you live with may not want a stranger in the house overnight. They may not want a stranger roaming around in their house when they're trying to watch TV in their jammies. Okay, it has to be fair for everybody. And this, again, it happens all the time. Okay, it happens with people in Scylla, happens when people, when I had a roommate in my apartment, we talked to each other and said, hey, I'm going to have company. Is this too late? Okay, you got to look at people's work schedules. If I have to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, I am not going to stay up until 10 o'clock at night. Okay, I want to go to bed earlier. While maybe my roommate or my housemate works at night, I'm all rip roaring raring to go during the day, but my roommate's sleeping during the day. So I'm not going to have visitors during the day. Okay, it's all about communication and cooperation, and staff and your ISC can help you with that. Okay, we're on our last slide. That is our contact information. If you have any questions, Tavarus is at the Self-Advocacy Alliance, and I am LeanneAdvocacy@gmail.com, and I see the hostess with the mostest just got back on, so I'm going to turn this off and see if anybody has questions, I guess.
Yeah, so thank you, Tavarus. Thank you, Leanne, for leading us through a wonderful discussion of HCBS, Home and Community-Based Services. We invite you now to take the time to type into the chat box if you have a question, a comment, or a consideration. We did have one that came in so far. Can guardians limit your visitors? As in, can they limit who comes to visit you?
The answer to that is no.
Okay.
Okay. So guardians cannot limit your visitors unless there's a proven danger. Okay, so if I have a habit of picking up strangers who may hurt me or my roommates, then yeah. Okay, because everybody in the house has to be safe. But they can't just say no visitors. Okay, my housemate's guardian can't just say no visitors. Okay, again, it has to be a discussion. Sometimes people have guardians who are mom and dad, and when that happens, I know my mom wasn't my guardian, but I did some stuff just to keep the peace. Okay, and so you can do that, but the rule is, the HCBS settings rule is for the people receiving services, not the guardians. Guardianship and Advocacy Commission here in Illinois has tons of information about this.
All right, thank you. I hope that answered the question. If that didn't, please type into the chat box if you have some additional questions about that. We did get another question in terms of decorating your room. Are there any restrictions in decorating the room in terms of perhaps what you can hang from the ceiling or things like that? Someone may want one of those swings. And can you have that in your room?
Tavarus, you want to take this one?
As I know of any restrictions, I know of. I mean, the way I've said, if it's your room, it's the right that you want. What you want in your room, you know, like I was said earlier, it's like you want the special items that you place on the wall if you want a good type of paint. Just swing, you have some type of swing as long as it's not covering the hormone that you can't walk through and all that. I don't see issue with it. No.
And the ceiling has to be strong enough to support the swing, right?
Yeah, ceiling definitely got to be strong. It can't be you put a swing on there and the ceiling's weak, though. Yeah, but the ceiling's strong. Yeah, it should be able to happen.
Yep. And
Well,
we go back to the lease, right?
Yes, back to the leak. Yes, definitely. So it's
Yeah,
not
because
that you can't hang stuff, then you can hang stuff. So,
Thank you. Here's another question about decorating a room. If someone wants a particular color or a mural on the wall, who has to pay for that? Does the residential provider pay for that? Does the self-advocate pay for that? I understand it's their choice how to decorate, but who has to pay?
so here's my opinion. The $7 can of paint, I think that the agency could probably afford that. Now, what you can do is have a painting party. Maybe we have family members who can come in and paint. I'm not saying go out and hire a professional painter, but Tavarus, how many rooms have you painted? I mean, Tavarus works maintenance at an agency, and
From what I know, they didn't buy no paint or nothing like that. We had painters come out and paint the room, stuff like that. They pick the color, but as paint, I didn't see nobody purchasing on paint and stuff like that. So it really probably up the HC could, like you said, could push him provide the paint and all that, because that's what we did for couple homes. And then we had to do it get the color they want. I don't see no.
and from the provider side now, here's what I'm thinking. Are there service agencies in your area? Is there a Kiwanis? Is there a high school key club? Is there a Martin Luther King Day of Service? Is there an AmeriCorps program? All of those programs. Is there a summer work program for teenagers who can learn how to paint a room, who can work next to the person whose room it is to help paint the room? And if really the agency can't afford the paint, then call Home Depot and ask them to make a donation. Okay, all of these things can be done, but be sure to talk to your development department so that you don't get a can of paint when they were trying to get like a whole house done.
All right. This is Christine.
From experience.
Yeah. This is the final question that has come through. You have mentioned a lot of different things that folks should bring up during their person-centered planning meeting and have written into their plan, whether it is about food or moving different places or decorating rooms or roommates and all that. Is it just during the person-centered planning that this is mentioned, or are these questions asked during the discovery process?
All of those questions should be asked during the discovery process. One of the things that I like to talk to providers about is kind of doing like a pre-discovery, because if I'm the house manager and I'm with somebody 24 hours a day, they may be more comfortable talking to me than talking to their ISC, because the ISCs have tons of people on their caseload. So maybe the person that I'm with the most can talk to me ahead of time. Okay. Anything that you want. One of the guys I used to work with, he told me that he needed money the next day. And I said, okay, I'll call. And he looked at me and he said, are you going to write it down? And I said, do I need to write it down? And he said, yeah, because you're going to forget. He knew me. So if you're saying something to your house manager, to your case manager, to your CDS staff, say, hey, can you write this down for me so that I can remember during my discovery meeting? Or can you come with me to my discovery meeting? Can you come with me to my person-centered planning meeting? Okay, because the more brains we have in the room, the more likely that everything is going to be in, because I may think of something Friday, I write it down because I am not going to remember by Monday. Okay. I tell Tavarus all the time, invite me to your meetings. And he's like, no, I don't need you at my meetings. Okay. But maybe he wants me to remind him of something he wants to talk about. Okay. So whatever works, whatever works so that you can remember to tell the person who's writing the plan what you want in there.
So this is the last follow-up about that question. What if you change your mind between the discovery where I said I wanted this, and now we're at my meeting where I don't want that anymore. I want something different. Then what happens?
Then you say, hey, I don't want that anymore. I want something different, and it gets changed. And if 2 months later you decide, I don't like this, you can ask that it be changed in your plan. Okay, the ISC and your organization does a thing called implementation strategies. So when you say, hey, I want to go bowling every week, I want to be on a team, then the ISC writes it in the plan, and then your agency writes down, all right, well, how are we going to make sure that this happens? And who is going to be responsible? Okay, so maybe your case manager or your Q is going to work with you to find a bowling alley close, to find a bowling team close. Okay, and then, hey, we found this bowling alley, and you go and you do not like bowling. Okay, it looked fun, it's not fun. Then we just go right back and we change it to what you want. Okay, that when we said not once and done, the person-centered plan can change as often as you change your mind. And all you have to remember is, I need to tell someone. Okay, because if you don't tell us, we don't know. As my husband says all the time to me, I can't read your mind.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. And as we end our time together today, I want to say thank you to Tavarus and thank you to Leanne for sharing HCBS. Let's check in a year later. This was very informative. We really appreciate your experience and expertise in sharing this valuable information. Again, you have contact information for both Tavarus and for Leanne if you want to ask some more particular questions. When we end today's presentation, a pop-up survey will come on your screen, and we ask you just to take a couple of seconds to respond to that survey. At the Alliance, we want to make sure that we are providing presentations and information that benefit you and the work that you do. And so your feedback is important as we continue to improve and share promising practice. So everyone,
if you didn't like it, then our names are Mary and Fred.
Well, I didn't want to say that. But again, thank you everyone for taking time out of your day to join us. Take care and don't forget to keep on speaking up and speaking out. Thank you. Bye-bye.